Here's something to trip on. A Tennessee officer has been handing out false DUIs today on Rational Lunatic Media. But before we get started, real quick, hit that like and subscribe button, punch that notification bell. Don't be afraid to get to know me. I won't bite unless you ask. If you're on TikTok and this video goes a little too long, jump over to YouTube, link to my TikTok. You can catch the same content, but the full amount there. And if you're interested in disgusting cops, disgusting judges, disgusting officials doing real disgusting things, jump over to my Patreon for $5 a month. You can get my Not Safe for Life news. And when I say it's hard to hear, you need to have a strong stomach for some of it, or a strong mind. Trust and believe that I mean that full-heartedly when I say it. But with that being said, thanks for being here, and let's get into this one, shall we? This report was written by WSMV4 News, read to you by yours truly, of course. A police officer arrested a sober man for DUI. Turns out he'd done it twice before. Goodlettsville, Tennessee. At 5:52 on the morning of September 6, 2023, Jeff Adams was working the first of his two jobs when blue lights appeared in his rearview mirror. Adams, a sixth grade teacher at Brentwood Middle School for 29 years, also works as an Uber driver to make extra money. And that's sad. You know, I report on corrupt officials, including corrupt teachers and social workers, but there is no reason why a hardworking, good teacher, especially one that's been working for 29 years, shouldn't be making enough money to support himself. We put so much taxpayer money into helping other countries, into our law enforcement, which has probably the most corrupt people in it, average wise, amount wise, compared to how many employees they have, the most corrupt employees in it. But we can't give our teachers a raise and pay them better so they don't have to drive Uber just to make ends meet. I mean, come on, man. We can do better than that. These teachers, this is why teachers a lot of them don't pay attention to their students, and they're so disingenuous or disenfranchised with being a teacher, because they pay a buttload to go through college, become teachers, and have to work a second job just to survive. After 30 years of service as a teacher, and he's working Uber, and now he gets a false DUI. Yeah. Good job. Good job, government. Good job. Let's continue. Sorry for the rant, just a little side note. According to Adams, the teacher, the patrol officer who approached Noah Werner of Goodlettsville Police. Let me start over on that one. According to Adams, the patrol officer who approached Noah Werner of Goodlettsville Police asked him first if he'd been drinking. Quote, "I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs," Adams can be heard saying on cell phone video recorded by another officer on the scene. You know what? I applaud that officer, because if he has cell phone video out, I would imagine they don't have body cams or they weren't working. And the other officer that had the due diligence and the, what I don't want to say the cojones, but just who had enough, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, the other officer who pulled his cell phone out and started recording, I applaud that officer. That sounds like a decent person to me. Doing his job and doing it right. But let's continue. I apologize. But Warner said he had observed Adams swerving, and the teacher offered to take a field sobriety test. Quote, "I figured I could pass it. I wasn't drinking," Adams said. "I was on my way to school. It was 5:52 a.m. Yeah, if that ever happens and you're not drinking, just ask for not even the field sobriety. Like, just give me a breathalyzer. Can I breathe for you? It's very simple. Like, if you're really not drinking, just ask to blow on the little breathalyzer and get it done. That's what I would do. You know what I mean? I've done that when I was drunk driving. I told them they tried to give me field sobriety, and I was like, that's pointless. Let me just blow the thing. I'm screwed. That's a true story. I figured I could pass. Okay. The cell phone video shows Adams didn't do well standing on one leg, but his surprise is evident when Werner tells him to put his hands behind his back. See, that's weird. I've done field sobrieties, right? I've failed a couple. They always ask you to blow. You know, I mean, I've had to blow, and I've been sober, but I've never seen anybody just be arrested um, by failing the sobriety test without having to blow first. You know what I mean? Because it could be, anything. You know what I mean? You could just have problems with your legs or your equilibrium. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Usually isn't that standard? Like, if you fail it, don't they still make you blow in that thing? Right? I don't know. Anyway, let me know in the comments if that's a common thing in other states. If they just give you a field sobriety if you fail it, as far as they consider you failing it. If they can just, if it's not normal for them just to, like, put you in cuffs and not have you blow in the breathalyzer. I don't know. This cop sounds like a real piece of work, though, so. But anyway. You're under arrest for a DUI, Werner says in the recording. Quote, "Sir, I have not drank a thing," Adams responds. It would take 4 months to prove that Adams wasn't lying. Both his alcohol and toxicology reports showed he was completely sober. Still, Werner documented in the affidavit for Adams' arrest that he showed several signs of impairment. Ultimately, the case against Adams was dismissed, though the damage was already done. Yeah, oh man, he probably got suspended from his teaching job, if not fired. Or at least suspended, depending on the investigation. That probably caused him a whole host of problems. You know what I mean? Like, God, man. As a result of the arrest, Adams was suspended from work for Uber, ultimately costing him, according to his calculations, roughly $15,000 in lost income. Though Brentwood Middle School did not fire him pending the conclusion of the case, he still feared that his students would find out. Quote, "It's the most traumatic experience to know that I'm being arrested, fingerprinted, mugshotted," Adams said, his voice cracking. "All a man's got is his reputation and his name. It's getting smeared, and I didn't appreciate it. I feel your pain, been there in a completely worse way, and yeah, man. Like, it's very hard to come to terms with. Chokes you up a little bit. WSMV4 investigates, observed. It doesn't, quote, it does, Adams said, excuse me. And a WSMV4 investigation found Adams wasn't the only DUI arrest ultimately dismissed or unable to be prosecuted in 2023. A review of Werner's DUI arrests show 2 other sober drivers were arrested by Werner in 2023. Maybe the cop is drunk, right? Maybe he's drunk and he's like, "You're not walking a straight line, you're swerving." Like, "Nah, officer, you're the one swerving. Like, of course you can't see, you think I'm swerving. You're seeing 2 of me, you can't even see straight." He needs to get his eyes checked, his ears checked, maybe his blood checked. There's a problem. There's a pattern. That's what this is, Adams said. WSMV4 investigates requested an interview with Officer Werner, but his boss, Police Chief Gary Goodwin, said he would answer our questions instead. Yeah, he's like, yeah, he still works here. Nah, you ain't talking to him. We know he ain't the brightest apple in the bunch, or the sweetest apple in the bunch. He's a rotten apple. Jesus Christ. And like literally, Werner could be over there like, oh yeah, I'll talk to him, and his boss is like, no, no, you won't. Not if you want to keep this job, you will not. You will not talk to them. Matter of fact, why don't you just sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, so even if we fire you, you can't talk to nobody. Yeah. Obviously, they know there's something wrong with their officer, and they're choosing to speak for him and keep him on. In reviewing the case, Goodwin said the drivers are owed an apology. Yeah, I bet he did. Quote, I certainly regret that, and I really deeply hurt for what they went through, Goodwin told WSMV4 Investigates. I doubt any cop, seriously, I doubt any cop hurts for falsely accusing or arresting or, falsely getting someone convicted of a crime. I doubt that any officer has ever hurt for that. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments, but that's what I think. Quote, if you had one case, it would be one thing. In this officer's case, you have 3 people who were sober and arrested for a DUI. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Asked WSMV4 Investigates. Good question in WSMV4. Quote, it doesn't necessarily tell me anything. But obviously, it's concerning. You hate it. You hate it for these 3 people, Goodwin said. Doesn't tell you anything. Is he related to this officer? What the actual F is going on here? Like, it doesn't tell me anything. Oh no, it just tells me that you have. It blatantly says you have an officer that's handing out false charges to people. I don't know. Like, that's just one thing it tells you. There's a whole. I can mention a lot more. Goodwin describes Werner as a relatively new officer who is conscientious, caring, and wants to do a good job. Hold on. Didn't they say that the teacher was busted in 2020 and that someone else was 2023? Hold on. Let me go back real fast. No, 2023. Okay, so last year. Must have been the last video I did. Someone got busted in 2020. Quote, he doesn't want to take anybody into custody that shouldn't be, Goodwin said. Yeah, he does. He doesn't care. Yeah, he does. He doesn't. Come on, man. Come on, man. Be honest. The police chief also admits he's frustrated by the entire situation. Yeah, I'm sure you are frustrated. No one likes to talk to reporters when they've hired a complete degenerate. In the affidavits of the 3 drivers, Adams writes that each showed signs of impairment. In one of the cases, Adams writes, that's the teacher's name. I think they meant Werner writes. Probably. Anyway, that each showed signs of impairment. In one of the cases, a driver had a half-empty beer can in the driver's side door. Yet all were ultimately found to be sober. Quote, I'm looking at these, and I'm not sure how I can fix this, Goodwin said. I don't know, maybe settle up. Maybe that would help just a little bit. Maybe give him give Adams the $15,000 that he lost by being suspended for however long, while he had to fight that case. Being suspended from Uber. Maybe start there. Public apology. I don't know. There's a few things you can do to make amends, right? We all know saying I'm sorry personally to that person, maybe reprimanding your officer, suspending him without pay for a few months, or just actually letting him go as an officer because he obviously doesn't do a very good job. I don't know. Just my opinion. An ongoing WSMV4 investigation found police departments throughout Middle Tennessee have arrested sober people for DUIs, and because of a backlog at the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation for Alcohol and Toxicology reports, we found some innocent drivers are waiting 8 months to get results back. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine being suspended from your job without pay for almost a year, for as long as it takes a baby to be born, pretty much, 8 months, because they're so backed up, and a bunch of those are false DUIs? I mean, come on, man. Like, we can do better than this, can't we? Can we? Can we? I don't know anymore. Because I mean, I believe we can. I always think, I'm a patriot. I love my country. I'll stand up and fight side by side for my brothers and sisters with my other brothers. Yeah, I mean, I feel like our government has the best intentions. The more I find out things, I'm like, maybe they don't. And I always think we can do better. But honestly, as I go through these stories, can we do better? Is it even possible anymore? Can we change? In many cases, sober drivers are asking for breathalyzers. I'm retarded. I looked at that word like, boo. Anyway, in many cases, sober drivers are asking for breathalyzers, but some police departments aren't using them. Something the TBI doesn't understand. Yeah, I don't. Who does? Do you understand? I don't understand. If someone has to be breathalyzed, why not just give them the breathalyzer? Adams can be heard asking for a breathalyzer in the cell phone video. Quote, "Do you have a breathalyzer or something I can take?" Adams asks. I would have said, even at the police station, take my blood. Like, sure they probably did. Actually, they had to get results. But seriously, why would it take that long to get blood results back for you can literally, when you go drug test for a job, it takes them like 24 hours to get the results back. Why would it take the cops so long to get a blood test back or a urine test? Like, that's ridiculous. They literally, probation has the cups you pee in, and it literally tells them right then and there what the hell you're on, if you're on anything. Why can't they provide that? That 8 months, that's ridiculous, man. Anyway, let's continue. Quote, "We'll get that," Warner said. Yeah, we'll get that. But that's not what happened. In body camera footage, Adams can be seen in a hospital getting a blood draw before being taken to jail. And that's mandatory, which it shouldn't be. That's what happens. Where I'm from, they give you full sobriety. If you fail that, you have the option of a breathalyzer. But if you refuse that breathalyzer, then it's an automatic blood draw. That's what they tell you, like straight up. Like, if you do not take a breathalyzer, we're taking you to the station, and you don't go to the hospital. You go straight to the station, and they draw your blood. And this happened to me back in like 2000 and 2003. That's what they literally, like, they're like, I need you to blow in this. You're like, I ain't blowing in that. They're like, okay, well, you can refuse, but then we're going to forcibly take your blood, and that's what they do. So the fact that they bypassed the breathalyzer and went straight to taking his blood, that should be a civil suit against the precinct, right? Because that's a violation of your rights. They can't just forcibly take blood when they have other options, unless you refuse those other options and they have no choice but to take blood. That doesn't make any sense to me, man. That Tennessee, y'all have some work to do. Y'all need to step it up. Like, that's ridiculous. Quote, "Why not? Sure, a breathalyzer each time. It would at least tell you if that person had been drinking," asked WSMV4 investigates. Quote, "So many of the people we see now are under the influence, and it's not necessarily alcohol," Goodwin said. But that's where you can take a urine test right there. Oh, come on, man. A blood test, Goodwin points out, is the only way to know for sure that someone isn't impaired, either using alcohol, illegal drugs, or using an improper dosage of prescription drugs. No, Not true. There are urine tests that can test for all those same things. Still, Goodwin says he struggles with the reality of the innocent people arrested for the serious crime. No, you struggle. You struggle talking to reporters. You struggle trying to back up corrupt cops. You don't struggle with people getting falsely convicted or falsely accused. Come on, man. Stop lying. Stop lying. Yeah. Own up to your bullshit. Quote, I just put myself in their positions. No, you don't. And how would I feel if this happened to me? Goodwin said, it wouldn't. You're a cop. It wouldn't happen to you. Adams said he knows how it feels each and every time he drives past where he was arrested. Quote, sometimes I'll refer to it as the scene of the crime. It was a crime against me, Adams said. It was, sir. It was a crime against you. I'm sorry for what you went through. I'm sorry for what each and every person who is falsely accused, falsely charged, falsely convicted of things. Man, like, I don't know any worse punishment for a person who doesn't deserve it. Like I did, man. Yeah. So I understand your pain. I feel you, and I'm sorry you guys. Anybody has to go through that. If there's anything you want WSMV4 investigates to know about you can contact us there. Yeah, you can look at the WSMV4 news if you want to, but that's so far what they have. So yeah, this officer not suspended, not fired, blatantly caught, blatantly or caught blatantly giving out false charges, uh, not giving breathalyzers. I mean, come on, man. I don't know. Those kind of stories they break my heart. Not only because I've been through this, in a much worse case. One day I will talk about my own story. Um, Once I have a more established platform, I will tell my story because it's one that needs to be told. People need to understand, but it's a very very hard one to tell. So for now, we'll just stick to the news. Anyhow, if you made it, you made it to the end with me. Thank you so much for being here. I know a lot of people don't make it this far. So if you're here, man, honestly, thank you so much. I'm very humbled. I'm very grateful. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I hope you guys get everything you want in life. Everybody deserves to be loved, treated well, and happy and have a fulfilling life. So if you don't have it and you're working on it like I am, um, you have my I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, and I'm happy that you're taking the right steps, because no one's gonna do it for you. You got to do it yourself. So that's what I'm doing. Um, and if you have problems, if you have mental issues, and you need mental health problems, get help. Um, too many of us have been through too much and have a lot of issues up here, and we need to get help. And I can honestly say I'm one of those, and you know, I'm I'm kind of a hypocrite in that sense, because I don't get it myself when I should, but when I probably should. But the gym and doing TikTok and YouTube helps me. So I have found other outlets other than counseling, but I'm not opposed to it. I don't know. I just procrastinate, I guess, or just don't do it. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Again, I'm very humbled, very grateful. And yeah, if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, jump over to YouTube and subscribe if you're on TikTok, because that's the platform I'm really, really trying to build, and as well as my Patreon. But yeah, stay tuned for the next one. And until then, stay healthy, stay free, and stay wild, y'all.